We have in Brazil a basic law that we call the Estatuto da Criança e do Adolescente. And unfortunately, this has been written by people that sometimes are not familiar with all the problems that happen. And we have legal and the justice that are operating in different ways. And sometimes they are not interpreting the Estatuto da Criança in the right way, in the favor of the child. Sometimes they want to impose something to the shelters that are not prepared for that situation. I know, for example, a case of a child almost near-born child that was sent to a shelter by the order of the judge, but the shelter didn't have facilities to receive that child, because it was prepared only to receive children from 3 or 4 years up. And sometimes that happens here. And of course, if the board of directors is challenged to face a situation like that, it's a question of bom senso. How do you say that?
Good sense.
Good sense. Well, I think the main thing is the economic condition of the country. I see, for example, now some figures that the press show about this financial and global financial crisis, and the amount of money that is put into help those organizations that are failing. And if you think in those big numbers and what is needed here just to level at the minimum level the condition of living of these people, that is something that make us think what is happening in this world. The lack of comprehension of people that lead the country.
Do you think there's corruption in government?
Yes, indeed. You see every day in the papers, and 2 days ago they showed that another thing in the main Senate administration, they had a bank account that was not shown. It was a secret bank account. What were they doing with that money? I don't know.
What are some of the biggest factors you think affecting or causes of poverty in Brazil, or the inequality of wealth?
Well, this inequality is not a privilege of Brazil. We are seeing now scenes in Africa, in India. Our CEO now is Graber. He travels a lot because an entrepreneur is always looking for new ways of organizing enterprises and so on. He has been in Africa, and he told me, also, Africa is inviolable. He has so many problems. I think Brazil, if we compare conditions of poor people here in Brazil with conditions of poor people in Africa or in India, we are not in such a bad situation.
But the difference is Brazil is the 6th largest economy in the world. Brazil is considered the breadbasket of the world. They're competing with Airbus and Boeing now in modern aircraft, and there's an enormous difference between Brazil and any other country in the world. You have to compare with Brazil with with France or Germany or United States. But
well, I was reading in
the
the
social
paper
problems, they
yesterday.
say 69th on the Human Development Index in education and poverty, and so there is a greater, based on where Brazil is in terms of its economic status, in terms of it as a powerhouse.
Well, I think I was reading the paper yesterday of describing the visit of President Lula to a group in Europe that is called BRIC. It's a group it's China, India, and Russia, and Brazil. I don't know, Brazil is the same state. I don't know. But this group of the emerging nations, I think basically in Brazil we have a lack of basic education. So FEAC is the institution I give my time to, is dedicating now most of its efforts in the field of education. And because if you educate people, they can decide in a better way. I remember I've been a member of the directory of the Sindicato of Constructors in Sao Paulo, and we decided to put a program of teaching the employees to read. And the Sindicato of the Employers, of the employees,
the union,
they were supporting the program. And after 2 or 3 months, they stopped supporting the program. And what the reason was that the laborers, they were reading things and questioning the administration of the union. So, you see, the basic is education. If you educate a child, if you educate people, they can decide in a better way.